A lot of people bracing for these payments to start kicking back in. What is the first step they should take, knowing that they're now going to have this extra chunk of money coming out of their accounts?
So be prepared. Start, if they haven't already, they should have had, do it right now, get a budget together. Take a look at income coming in, expenses going out. If they have a surplus that can cover these expenses, fantastic. If they don't, start looking at areas that they could potentially cut out of their budget. There might be subscriptions, things that they're paying monthly for that they no longer need, that they can immediately cut out, that could go towards these student loan payments. And if not, look at your current providers. Maybe you could contact them and negotiate your monthly price down. I've done that successfully myself, and it's been extremely helpful. So you want to make sure that you're freeing up the room and you're 100% prepared for these payments to resume and that they fit into your budget.
I'm sure a lot of people are going to start getting inundated by sort of student loan repayment companies, really not sure which ones they should be following, which ones are legit, which ones might be a scam just because they see the news cycle here. How should people pick out the best student loan repayment options out there for them?
I think you have to be very careful. You bring up a great point, Rachelle. There are a lot of options. There's been a lot of things presented and put across the table in terms of how people could potentially reduce their payments or even their outstanding obligations. The important thing is go to the federal websites, take a look at what options are available to you and what makes the most sense for you and your family, because there are some good options that are currently available, like the SAVE program, which is currently in process. You could go online and apply for that. If you're eligible, that may immediately cut your payments and potentially forgive your debt a lot earlier than you had expected.
So when people are trying to weigh going the SAVE, the Biden administration SAVE program versus other options, what should they keep in mind? How should they be calculating it?
I think they have to look at three things, really. They have to look at how are their payments today going to be affected, number one. Number two is how are their balances going to change going forward? Are they going to continue to grow through the programs that they're looking towards, or are they going to remain the same? And then three, is there an availability for the balance to be forgiven at some point? Those are three things that you can easily look at and compare between all the options. And then it's a matter of deciding what's in your best interests.
And for people who are trying to balance, look, I have, rent going up, used car prices are too high. Some people might be like, look, let me just let this thing go delinquent. What should they keep in mind if they're like, I'm just not going to pay it, or they're trying to put it out of their mind, and some of the consequences they should be aware of?
So it is a challenge, right? Especially in this environment that we're in, things have gone up and now you have this added expense. So number one is there's the on-ramp program. So my understanding is nobody's going to be penalized if they can't or they don't pay enough for the first 12 months. There's going to be somewhat of an on-ramp process to this loan repayment starting. So they should be aware of that. If they ultimately have or choose to go delinquent, you have to be aware of the consequences. There could be a situation where this balance may still be overhanging you. There could be some kind of, federal government lien against if you're getting a tax refund. That may be confiscated or withheld and applied to that tax that tax obligation or your student loan obligation. The other thing that you have to be aware of, which kind of stays with you for a long time, is it could affect your credit rating. And that not only will affect you today, that affects you in the future on purchases, whether it be a car loan, car lease, your car insurance. Having a stellar credit rating is extremely valuable, and that may impact it.
And Lawrence, I want to just quickly ask you about best ways to pay off debt, because there's the snowball method where you start with the smallest debt that you have, pay that off, and then keep applying those to the others, versus the one that has the biggest interest rate or the highest debt. How should people approach paying off their debt?
Whatever's going to be the most easy for them to use and do, right? If they need those small wins and using that snowball approach where they're paying off the smaller debt and they feel like a win because they've rid themselves of that debt, then that is a method that they should be using. If they're simply looking to lower their overall monthly expenses and the amount of interest they're paying, then for those individuals, tackle those balances that have the largest interest rates. They may be the largest balances, so it may really be the opposite of the snowball effect, but really it's about what are you going to feel good about at the end of the day? What's going to make the most sense for you and your family? You know, we talk about it in financial planning, made personal all the time. These are personal decisions. Some people are going to love having that win out of the gate, and if they have 5 debts outstanding at the end of the month, knowing they only have 1. Others want to know that their interest payments are going down. So evaluate the decisions, see what's going to be in your best interest and make the most sense for you, and start and stay active with it and continue to knock down those debts.
It's true, because it really is about that mental relationship that we have with money, whether you're the kind of person who needs that quick win to keep you encouraged versus sort of that bigger picture view. We do appreciate you breaking all this down for us. Sprung, founder of Mitlin Financial and author of Financial Planning Made Personal. Thank you so much.